Hello, guys. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to all of you wherever you are. Welcome back to my channel. This is a channel where we discuss about traditional and cultural issues. Yes, the lifestyle, the African lifestyle. Yes, and today I have an interesting story that I want to be with you in the kitchen as we cook, as usual. And I've just come from my place of work and I felt it wise just to come and see my land. Remember when I was here last, the land was too shaggy, the land was too, the weeds were too tall and they were competing with the plants. But I was able to weed it, I was able to plant some other crops here. And very soon I'll show you how the crops will be coming up. Yes. Otherwise, today I just saw that I should come and do my introduction here and see how the land is faring on. Yes. And you know, I'll want to ask you, my viewers, if ever you've gone through any trouble, any difficulties, anything that any issue that affected you in your life, and then this thing pushed you on a wall, eh, in that you thought that God has left you. You thought that God is not with you. You thought that God is not fair enough to you because you know yourself. You know that you are doing the good thing. You know you are praying God. You know you believe in God. You know you trust in God. But now this thing has just affected you, and then you came a place and thought that, hi, this thing, I don't think if God is unfair. Yes, have you ever gone through such a situation? Yes, today I was just thinking about things that that I've gone through in life, things that are affecting me, and then I was too much uh, down. I was not well, and then I just felt that does this does this God does he really see what is happening? Is this God really fair? Yes, and then when I was thinking about this issue, now the story of John the Baptist came into my mind. And then I remember in the Bible where John the Baptist sent just disciples to go and ask Jesus, was he the one that was to come? Yes. And then I said, who is me that, now, all of you, you know who John the Baptist was. You know, he even made the path for Jesus. You're the one who baptized Jesus. You are the one who made way for Jesus in the wilderness. You are the one who was preaching and telling people that you make the way. The one that's coming after me is coming with fire, you know. And now John is now in the prison. And now look at what John was thinking. John was thinking that God, God has left him. Jesus has left him, you know, until he sent his disciples to go and ask Jesus that was he the one that was supposed to come, or should he wait for the other? You know, you don't know what was going through John's mind, you know. And I said, all that was going through John's mind is what is going through us also. Yeah, like me, you know. I came again and remembered in the Bible, Jeremiah 11, 29:11, that says that, 11:29, that says that, for I know the plans that I have for you, plans for good, plans that will give you hope. And sometimes you come and you, now the disbelief, eh, come over you, it overwhelms you, and then you tend to ask God, do you really, is it the plan that you are planning for me? That is me. So today is today is that day that we're going to chat in the kitchen as we cook. Yes, and encourage ourselves, because I know some of you are going through these problems. Maybe some of you asking yourself, why is this thing happening to me? But I want to tell you that God is real and God is watching you. So welcome back to my kitchen as we cook and do these stories and see how it goes, how life is. Yes. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to my kitchen. Today, you are going to prepare chapati as we reflect on the story of John. Remember, when I introducing this topic, I told you that we go through circumstances, we go through a lot until we come to a place where we judge, we judge God, we question God. Eh? We say, God, do you really see us? Eh? Are you with us really? And I mentioned Jeremiah 11:29, where he says that He has good plans for us. Sometimes you see what you are passing through. You see the problem that you are undergoing, and then you think, does this God really had a good plan for me? Is this that I'm going through was a plan of God? No. So many of us, we are like the John the Baptist. We pray, we serve God, and we try to remain faithful, yet we still go through painful situations. Sometimes we begin to wonder, Lord, have you forgotten me? Have you left me? Yes, John reached a point where he had questions, but he did something wise. He took those questions to Jesus. Jesus did not reject him for asking. Instead, he pointed John to the evidence of God's work, and later honored him before the crowd. So, when you are going through these circumstances, when you are going through this problem, where do you take your questions? Do you take your questions to your friends? Do you take your questions to your relatives? Do you take your questions to your children? Do you take your questions to your husband or to your wife? Today, I just want to tell you that, like John, take your questions to Jesus. Ask Jesus. Go to him like John. Ask him. Yes, remember, Jesus did not condemn John. Jesus will never condemn you in whatever questions that you are going to ask him. So today, just go to Jesus and ask him whatever that you are passing through. Yes, guys. Yes, as I was saying that, don't take your problems or your questions to your friends. Don't take your questions to your relatives. Don't take your questions to your husband or to your wife. Take them to Jesus. You should copy John. John did not ask the disciples to answer his questions. Instead, he told them to go and ask Jesus. Was he the one, or should you wait for another one? You know, some of us, we have those questions. We wonder if God is really seeing us. But if you are going through a difficult season today, remember this: your circumstances are not proof that God has abandoned you. God may not always work in the ways or at the time we expect, but he remains faithful. Like John, keep trusting him even when you do not understand what he's doing. John was not condemned for asking questions. Instead, Jesus affirmed his greatness. Do you know what he said? Jesus honored him by saying that there was no one greater born of a woman than John. So being in a difficult season does not mean God has abandoned you. Yes. And what can I tell you? Don't let disappointment destroy your faith. John expected the Messiah to bring judgment quickly, but Jesus' mission first focused on saving people. You know, sometimes you see that people are condemning you, people are doing wrong to you, people are pushing on the wall, and you are praying, God, you are doing what God needs you to do. And then you wonder, does really God see these people? Why can't he act faster? Sometimes you want your enemy to die. Sometimes you want the enemy to be punished. But God's not punishing your enemy. Your enemy is just enjoying life. Your enemy is enjoying everything. And then you get this question that, does really God see what's happening to you? Yes, God's timing and methods are often different from our expectation. Yes. Know that faith means trusting God until the end. John remained faithful even though he was later executed. His reward was not earthly freedom, but eternal honor.
Nimeamua maishani mwangu kumpendeza Mungu wangu kwa kuwa nimeona upendo wake.
That is it, guys. Yes, you know that the world has got ups and downs. And the world has people. Yeah? There's an artist here who sang a song in Swahili saying that kuna viwatu na viatu. Yes. You have people who just make a plot for you and they push you on a wall. People who just sit down and fabricate something just to tarnish your name. Just like John. For those people who read the Bible, you know why John was in prison. You know? So people just fabricate things. People just talk things that are not true just to push you on a wall. And sometimes you get pained. You get, I don't know what situation that you are in. Yeah? Like John the Baptist, you may be in a season where you wonder if God has forgotten you. Don't lose hope. Take your question to Jesus. Keep doing what is right and trust his timing. Your prison is not a proof that God has left you. The same God who honored John sees your faithfulness too. Hold on. God is still at work, even when you cannot see. When I was meditating or thinking about this issue, and when this story of John came into my mind, I had some things that I learned from John. And I'll share with you what I learned from John. Do you know, guys, what I learned from John? I learned from John that even strong believers can have moments of doubt. So you're just a normal person, you know, but you're going through hard circumstances and you want to give up. No, know that even strong believers can have moments of doubt. John had boldly preached about Jesus, yet while in prison, he wondered, are you the one? Are you the one to come? This shows that difficult circumstances can test anyone's faith. Another thing that I learned from John is that take your question to Jesus, as I told you in the beginning. Yes, take your questions to Jesus. Don't take to anybody else. Instead of giving up, John sent his disciples to ask Jesus directly. You know, John had a position to ask the disciples what he was going through, to discuss with the disciples. You know, sometimes when we get a problem, we tend to meet our friends, we discuss it, we talk about it, and we forget where to take our problems, you know. So John, instead of giving up, he sent his disciples to ask Jesus directly. When we are confused or discouraged, we should seek God rather than turning away from him. Another thing that I learned from John was that God's work continues even when we don't understand it. You know, Jesus did not simply answer yes. He pointed to the miracles he was doing, showing that God's promises were being fulfilled, even if they didn't happen the way John expected. You see? And also another thing that I learned from John was that our circumstances do not determine our value of God. John was in prison, but Jesus publicly honored him, saying, there was no one greater born of woman than John. So I'll just leave you with that topic and tell you that, encourage you that God is seeing you, God is watching you, be patient, and you are going to see its results at the end. I know this thing has encouraged somebody somewhere that is going through any circumstances, hard circumstances. I don't know what you're going through, but I know this thing is going to guide you. Thank you for listening to me. Welcome back to my channel. Subscribe, comment, share, and God is going to bless you. Bye-bye.
Nimeamua maishani mwangu kumpendeza Mungu wangu kwa kuwa nimeona upendo wake. Nimeamua maishani mwangu mimi kumpendeza Muumba wangu kwa kuwa nimeona upendo wake. Nilijitahidi maishani kuwapendeza wanadamu, lakini wote hao hawana wema. Nilijitahidi kwa udi na uvumba wana wema. Mungu wetu kweli ni wa neema, tena yeye ni wa rehema tele. Amechagua mambo mapumbavu awaibishe wenye hekima. Amechagua vitu vidhaifu aviaibishe vyenye nguvu. Tena kachagua vitu vinyonge hata na vilivyodharauliwa. Mungu akaona ya kwamba Lea hakupendwa naye Yakobo, kwa rehema na fadhili zake akafungua uzao wake. Lea alidhani moyoni mwake kwamba atampendeza Yakobo. Alipoambulia patupu, aliamua kumsifu Bwana. Nimeamua maishani mwangu kumpendeza Mungu wangu kwa kuwa nimeona upendo wake. Nimeamua maishani mwangu mie kumpendeza Muumba wangu kwa kuwa nimeona upendo wake. Nilijitahidi maishani kuwapendeza wanadamu lakini wote hao hawana wema. Nilijitahidi kwa udi na uvumba kuwapendeza walimwengu mie, lakini wote hao hawana wema. Baadhi yetu sisi kama Lea tumechoka, tumekata tamaa, tumejiweka kwa majukumu, kujionyesha kwa wanadamu. Tumepeana upendo wetu hata pasipokuwa na pendo. Twategemea wanadamu kwa uamuzi wa maishani. Wanawake, wana watoto, wa kike kwa wa kiume, wadhani